I believe we're in a battle for the future of the industry. I know that we're all working together. I know that it's all harmony. I think things are changing so fast. And in this battle, I think the construction industry needs to stick together, as our brilliant first speaker said, not fight each other. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I think there's upheaval coming, and I think the construction industry needs to try and control it, needs to try and be in charge of it, and not have it inflicted upon us. Let me start with a little context just because, and I'm not trying to brag and say blah, 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 but it's important, I think, for context for the little bit I'm going to say later. EllisDon, I was CEO for 25 years. Thank God I'm not anymore. I hope the new guy doesn't screw it up completely. It's been a terrific transition. I've enjoyed every second of it. We've done okay. We'll do $6 billion in revenue this year. Not as much as some, a lot more than others, $7 billion next year if we can find the people. And we've got a diversified strategy at EllisDon. We're not just a construction company. We've got this strategy called Cradle to Grave. Everybody hates that name, but nobody steals it, so I guess it's okay that way. But what Cradle to Grave is 25 different profit centers. We've got a project finance arm. We've got a facilities management arm. We've actually got an insurance brokerage. We've got a bunch of other stuff. We've also got a 200-strong person digital team. We started that digital initiative about 25 years ago with a product I'm sure you've all heard, called Edge Builder. I'm looking. Yeah, nothing. It was pretty junky. It was ahead of its time, but at least it got us started. And what it did do was it just helped us start to build the team. So now we've got programmers, we've got data analysts, we've got VR specialists, we've got UX designers. I don't actually know what a UX designer is, but I'm told we have a bunch of them. And they're very terrific. If there's any of them in this room, I'll meet you outside. You can tell me. We've got a predictive analytics startup called Compass that is not only profitable, but cash flow positive. So that's good. And what's important about all that, it's given us about 25 years of really consistently formatted and accurate data, which is about 100 billion worth in construction and services activity. Obviously, I'll come back to that. Now, the core business is in hands far more capable than mine, and I mean that sincerely, but I told everyone about 6 months ago I'm stepping down as CEO. I'm moving to executive chair. I don't have to do much, but one thing I want to stay involved with is digital. What got to me, and what I've never been able to get out of my head, and excuse me for being a little slower than all of you digital experts in the room, I was down at a speech with a guy, the CEO of OpenText, you know, the great unicorn that came out of Kitchener-Waterloo. Guy's name is Mark Barenechia. Hope I said that right. Maybe some of you know him. He said 2 things that I accepted without reservation and have never got out of my head. He said to us all, there were all these CEOs there, all different types of CEOs. He said, ladies and gentlemen, if your company in 10 years isn't a software company, then you won't have a company. So face that fact. You can imagine how I reacted to that. Then he said this. He said, everyone's talking about data. Remember, this is 5 years ago. He said, data is the new oil. Data, data, data. He said, it's not about data. It's about which data. There's data everywhere. You got to get the data part right. I've been repeating this around EllisDon for the last 5 years, because of course now we've only got 5 years left, and I've been met with the odd bit of ridicule. I imagine even at PCL there's a bit of resistance to all this new stuff. People say to me, Geoff, stop talking. We're not a software company. Stick to the knitting, dude. We're builders. We're a building company. And that's horseshit. Other than our formwork division at EllisDon, I don't mind telling you, we are not builders. There isn't a callus in the whole bunch of us. But we are leaders in the building process, which is a whole different thing. I want to tell you one last thing about the OpenText, Mark Barenechia's, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, speech. At the end of his speech, he said, listen, everybody, if you need help on your way to transforming yourself into a software company, give me a call, I'll help you. So I did. And I went to see him, and he said, Geoff, we've got this software that's going to disrupt the construction industry, and we should really be using it. which means that, and I don't want to sound paranoid, but open text is out to get me. They want to take my business. They want to disrupt me before I disrupt myself. I haven't seen Mark since. I know he's a great guy.